You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back. It is time to dance once again on the Crypto Rundown. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, coming at you on this shortened holiday trading week. Hope you're all having a good holiday season out there, whatever you celebrate at the end of the day. Reminder out there, if you haven't checked out the Pro yet, what are you doing? theoptionsinsider.com/pro, the place to go to get your hands on all the cool stuff we have cooking here on the Pro side, including the upcoming Vol Deathmatch 2.0. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. theoptionsinsider.com/pro. As we get on into a little bit of the holiday, just the facts, ma'am, edition of the Bitcoin Breakdown.
It's time to explore the latest trending activity, trends, and developments across the world's leading crypto market. It's time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Bitcoin Breakdown, the portion of the show where we do just that. We break down all the action in the world's leading digital asset, which is the big dog, aka BTC, looking a little bit bigger this week than it was last week. Then again, not quite as big as it was earlier in the session today. Coming into the start of the show right now, a little bit past 2 p.m. here in the one true time zone, listeners. We have Bitcoin a little bit north of 88,000, 88,432. That puts it up a little over 2,000, about 2,152 handles to be precise, from where it was this time on the show last week. That said, we did get slightly north of 90,000 earlier this morning. 90,000, looks like about almost 90,250 before turning back to the dark side a little bit. So you bulls out there got a little bit to celebrate here on this shortened holiday trading week. Let's get out to crunch some of the numbers, shall we? On the vol and skew front, remember, if you want to crunch all these numbers for yourselves, check out Greg's platform over there at Amber Data, amberdata.io, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. We literally couldn't bring you the network throughout the year without the support of all of our sponsors, including the folks at Amber Data. So if you've enjoyed Crypto Rundown throughout the year, get on over to amberdata.io. The GUI is completely free, costs you nothing. Let them know you heard about them on the old Crypto Rundown. They will be very thankful. It's a virtuous circle at the end of the day. It helps everybody. So check them out, amberdata.io, to check out all the data we talk about here and a whole bunch more we really don't have time to get to on the show. If you did that, you would see that Bitcoin vol coming back to earth a little bit this week. 44 and a third last week, 42 and a quarter, off a little over 2, about 2.1 points. That's on the 30-day vol. If we go to the weekly vol, the vol collapse a little bit more pronounced. Almost a 49 in the show last week, 48.85. Coming into the start of the show today, barely over a 40, 40 and a quarter. And going out to where the hodlers hang out on the 6-month vol front, listeners, at about a 46.5 right now. That puts it down about 0.85, was at 47.35 on the show last week. Let's get into the skew land, though. We might expect to see the pronounced negative skew we've been seeing of late in Bitcoin recede a little bit, given the fact that we rallied over 90K this morning, and that is pretty much the case. The 7-day skew last week, almost a -6, -5.9. Coming in the start of the show today, -3.5. The 30-day skew, -6.75 on the show last week, -4.1 right now. Again, we have retreated back through the 90K level to the other side, to the other direction, so we'll see if that starts leading to a little bit more bearish sentiment on the skew as the day progresses. But right now, this is where we're hanging out. This is our snapshot, listeners. And of course, hanging out on the hodler skew front, -4.75 on the show last week. That's pretty bearish for the hodler skew. Coming back a point this week, -3.75. Speaking of coming back a point, that's what IBIT did this week. IBIT exactly at a 50 when we kicked off the show, listeners. That puts us up exactly $1 from where we were this time a week ago. Volume-wise, it is that time of year where we're seeing volume come back to earth a wee bit, and that's the case in IBIT. The ADV is still a pretty impressive 918,000 contracts. That's down almost 40,000 from this time last week. Today, not quite getting there. 450,000 contracts on the tape with about an hour left to go in the session. So unless volume magically doubles, probably not going to get there. But then again, it is a shortened holiday trading week, so we don't expect lighting the world on fire numbers here this week. 30-day vol at about a 44, down a point from where it was this time last week. Interesting little discrepancy there between IBIT and Deribit on the 30-day vol front, which we don't see. But then again, it is one of those thin trading weeks, so these kinds of little blips do work their way into the numbers on weeks like this. In terms of action, what are the hot trades out there in IBIT right now, listeners? Looks like somebody really likes the DEES 44 puts. They're going up 30,000 times today. These are expiring this week, so very much holiday-themed puts. Average price for these, not even 2 cents, about 1.7 cents on average. So looks like this is probably closing. There is some OI on this strike, so maybe someone getting the heck out of Dodge, taking their penny and change and trying to live the fight another day. Also, number 2, we got 23,000 of the 51 calls also expiring this week. Now, those are obviously a little bit more relevant. Those going up for 86 cents, 23,000 times today. So there is OI on this strike, so it is possible that they are closing these. I think they did a fair amount of them back on December 19th as well, about 18, almost 19,000, when IBIT was at 49.91. And looks like they traded for, or closed at least for 64 cents that day. So going up for 86 cents today. So if they are taking them off, they made a little money there. So 2 potentially closing transactions dominating the tape there in IBIT. What is dominating the tape in Mara today? Well, Mara, first off, down nearly $1. $10 even, down about 90 cents on the day. That said, it did get higher intraday, listeners. We got as high as about almost 1070 today, 1069. Again, feeling that juice as Bitcoin was rallying. Like Bitcoin now coming back to earth a little bit, hanging out right around that 10 handle as we're kicking off the show. Puts it down, again, about 90 cents from where we were this time a week ago. 213,000 contracts hitting the tape, so a decently active day. The ADV is 259. That's down about 20,000, so good chance we're going to hit that today. And your hot option in Maryland today looks like some folks rolling the bones on the 10.5 calls expiring this week, listeners. Going up 18,100 times today. Again, average price for these, 27 cents. Goes without saying, those looked a lot better this morning than they do right now. Would you pay 27 cents for those listeners, or would you be an aggressive seller? Also saw the 11 calls going up nearly 14,000 times today for about 13 to 14 cents. So both of those not looking great right now, but we'll keep an eye on those as we also keep an eye on the altcoin universe.
It's time to move beyond Bitcoin and find out what's moving the rest of the crypto marketplace. It's time to boldly venture into the altcoin universe.
All right, everybody, welcome to the altcoin universe, the portion of the show where we peer into the world of altcoin, see what's lighting up the tape this week. We like to start looking at the market cap out here, listeners. And last week it cost you about $13.8 billion to break into the top 10. Take about $500 million off the top this week. $13.3 billion is what it cost you to break into the top 10. So still continuing our downward trajectory here. I still get you to Cardano, number 10. Number 9 is Doge, $22.2 billion. Number 8, it's Tron, $26.9 billion. So Tron actually ticking up from last week, as did Doge. It's just Cardano that's still giving up a little bit of market cap this week. Number 7, it's Solana, $70.3 billion. Solana almost exactly unchanged on the week. So interesting stuff there. Number 6, USD coin, $77.1 billion. Number 5 is XRP, $115.5 billion. Again, pretty close to unch for XRP on the week as well. Number 4, BNB, $118.3 billion. Number 3, it's Tether, $186.75 billion. Number 2, it's ETH, $360.4 billion. And the big dog, BTC, $1.75 trillion worth of market cap. But out to ETH we go, listeners. And ETH kind of treading water on the week, listeners. When we got that nice little rally today, we did see ETH drift over the 3,000 level, if ever so slightly. Like we got up to 3,065 earlier in the session. As we're coming into the start of the show today, still up on the week, but only barely, 29.85 when we kicked off the show. So back below that psychologically important 3K level. Still puts us up about 32 handles on the week. Again, remains to be seen how long that lasts, listeners. Out to the vol and skew we go. Weekly vol, 71.5 on the show last week, 61. So coming in over 10 points on the weekly vol front. Again, it is that time of year, listeners. 30-day vol, 64.25 last week, 66.8 this week. And then the Hodler vol, the 180-day vol, 67.5 this week, 68 2/3 last week. So vol coming in pretty much across the board on the ETH front. Is that the same thing for the skew? The answer is pretty much yes. It was decidedly bearish last week. Still bearish, but not quite as pronounced. Weekly skew last week, -6.5. This week, -4.4. So coming in a little over 2 points. 30-day skew, -5.9 last week, -4.2 this week. So taking 1.7 points off the top there. Still bearish, but again, not quite as pronounced. And where the hodlers live, -1.9 last week, -1.2 this week. Let's get out some of the other names you folks like to watch on the ETH and indeed altcoin universe front. Let's go out to Greg's favorite. It's Circle. Maybe it's your favorite as well. We've heard a lot of interesting feedback since we started talking more about Circle on the show. Are you folks down for a little bit of Circle? Are you buying that it is the Netflix of the stablecoin era? I guess we'll find out. Right now, looking pretty good. $87, up about 12 handles or so on the week here for Circle. So a good week out here on the Circle front, listeners. Putting up about 92,000 contracts on the tape for Circle right now. The ADV 120, that's down about 27,000 contracts from this time last week. 30-day vol hanging out right around a 66. That's actually up a point from where it was this time last week. But you know, if you've been trading Circle for a while, that's much lower than it was trading at not that long ago. And the hot option in Circle land right now, looks like somebody maybe agrees with Greg. Big line in the sand going up on the put side today, almost 21,000 of the Jan 80 puts. Average price for these, it's like about $2.77. It's like paper mostly selling these. This is opening paper, listeners. So again, if you're selling those, you're drawing that line in the sand saying you will buy Circle at $80, minus, of course, the cost you're collecting for those puts. So you're coming in at $77.25. Is that a good price? For Circle listeners, would you be a buyer at that level? Hit us up. Let us know. You like those puts, or would you be maybe a buyer of those, looking for a little bit of a turnaround to the dark side out here? Let's run through the rest of our altcoin universe, and we'll hit some crypto questions before we get out of here on this Just the Facts, Ma'am edition. Solana kind of treading water, as I mentioned earlier. 125 and 3/4 last week, right around 125 this week, so off about 3/4 of a point. Again, still hanging out right around that level we've been debating for some time, 125. Our pro members debating whether to buy more here or not, or whether to wait for lower. What are your thoughts? Are you buyer here or wait for lower in Solana? XRP, I said it was I literally mean it this week. It was 191 on the show last week, 191 again this week. So no movement net on the week for XRP. Doge ticking up ever so slightly, 12.9 cents last week, 13.2 cents this week. Litecoin, again, kind of treading water. It's almost like it's a truncated holiday week, listeners. Not a lot going on. 77.38 for Litecoin last week, 77.47 this week, up not even a dime. Cardano, 38.7 cents last week, 37.1 cents, so down a whopping 1.6 cents. Polkadot, $1.88 last week, $1.78 this week, down a dime. And everyone's beloved Shiba Inu, 1,000,000 zeros, 7,884 last week. This week, 1,000,000 zeros, 725. So once again, those lug nuts on the wheels of your Lambos not looking great. But let's see what's looking great, or perhaps not, when we roll out the crypto questions.
You've got questions about crypto. Who doesn't? It's time to find out the answers to your crypto questions.
All right, let's get out here to your crypto questions. Last week, we asked you a pivotal one. In fact, it just expired as the show started, listeners. This is the $1 million question in crypto right now, listeners, which is quite simply, are the White Walkers coming? Is winter here for crypto? Yes or no? And listeners, just went out a few minutes ago. I'm sad to say 63.6% of our audience, nearly 2/3, say, yeah, winter is here. So maybe stock up on provisions on Winterfell. Load up on some of that dragon glass, because the White Walkers are apparently coming over the hill. Anytime now, 36.4% say you want to buy the dip. That was the trade earlier today. Will that persist in the coming weeks and months? We shall find out. But right now, our audience leaning bearish. But you know what? It's a holiday week. We're not going to leave you on that dire note out there, listeners. So we'll take you home with a fun little seasonal question of the week, which may end up turning out to be the most divisive, the most contentious poll question we've ever asked. It's already shaping up that way, and it's already been live for about a couple hours. Quite simply, we said, let's have some fun on this short holiday trading week. What is your favorite Christmas movie? And again, you can't possibly narrow it down to just the 4 choices in a Twitter poll. So we said, hey, go crazy. Write-ins are welcome. But our 4 canon selections, listeners, are A Christmas Story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the old school 60s stop motion one, It's a Wonderful Life, and Elf. And we've already had a lot of fun write-ins, which again just goes to show people are taking this seriously, listeners. It's contentious. This one was surprising. We had our Carly Garner, who is doing well, moving on to the finals in our fantasy football battle royale this week, listeners. She wrote in for the live action version of The Grinch. Now, I could see an argument for the Dr. Seuss classic animated version, but the live action one, I think that suit gives a lot of people nightmares, but she wrote in for it. We have write-ins in our chat and on the Twitter poll. This is a great one. Die Hard. A lot of people argue that is a Christmas movie. It is Christmas season, to say the least, in that one. Little violent Christmas movie. Not going to watch it with the kids around the tree, probably, but a fun one, a great movie nonetheless. This one just popped in, brought a smile to my face. Bad Santa. I will say I saw this movie with someone, listeners, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone laugh as hard at a movie in my life as they laughed at this film in the theaters. I didn't think it was that funny, but watching their response, I certainly laughed at them probably more than I did at the movie itself. So that always colors my impression of this film and makes me chuckle whenever I think of it. I'm not sure if you love it or hate it. It's one of those divisive movies. But then again, I write in for it. And then I'm surprised more people didn't write in for this one. I'm surprised more people actually aren't saying we should have included this in our poll. Home Alone. Again, it's hard to narrow it down just to 4 choices. So if you have your write-ins, Add Options is the place to go. But right now, in our official Canon 4 selections, It's a Wonderful Life. Kind of the cliche response, taking it. We didn't have room for A Miracle on 34th Street. There are so many. There are so many, listeners. Elf, though, putting up a fight. Exactly a third, 33.3%. Elf is quite beloved. I love myself some Elf, too. That comes on if they're at the snowball fight scene or the Santa, you sit on a throne of lies scenes. I'll sit down and watch some Elf. I love Elf. So Elf's a great one. And then we bring it up the rear, which is kind of surprising. A Christmas Story and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer tied with 11.1% each. So it's 44.4% right now for It's a Wonderful Life. Exactly a third for Elf. And then a tie for third between A Christmas Story and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. If I had a gun to my head right now, I probably would choose A Christmas Story. But I could go for Elf or Rudolph on this. It's not a huge Wonderful Life guy, but people do love it. To each their own. Like I said, this is going to be a contentious one. So if you're sitting there this week, sipping some eggnog by a warm fire, maybe debating something with your family members out there, throw this out there and see what they say. I guarantee you it will spark some conversation. We will reveal the winners on the show next week. All right, that is going to do it for us on this Just the Facts, Ma'am holiday edition of the Crypto Rundown. But you know what? No rest for the wicked on the network for me, listeners. I'll be back after the closing bell, exactly 3:30 p.m. Central. I'll be joined by the one, the only Mr. Nick to hold court on some options flow. He's the guy who built the platform, after all. Quick Options crunches all the data for us on our newest addition to the network, the Hot Options Report. He's always got some secrets up his sleeve. Should be a fun time. An extra special holiday edition of the Hot Options Report coming to you after the closing bell. You're going to want to stick around for that. Trust me. Always some nuggets, some secrets coming out of Mr. Nick. Probably some, who knows, maybe some holiday gifts as well. That'll be at 3:30 p.m. Central. And then back again with our usual array of content. Not second half of the week, obviously. No shows on Thursday. But we're back again next Monday to break down the final trading week of the year on the Crypto Rundown. Stay safe out there, everybody.
The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.